Another week, boys, and another TWAB. This week at Bungie, the weather is changing. You feel that? A slight chill in the air? It's time to prepare for a colder climate. Europa has no sympathy for unprepared guests. You might want to come with a weapon or two, because the frigid storms aren't the only danger to be found here. Don't be afraid, though. An old friend will be waiting for your arrival. That's right, guys. Varix? Man, I completely missed it the other day. I looked that man in the face and didn't recognize him. That's bad. It's just been a minute since I've seen him. But yeah, Varix is back. We've got a lot of things to say to him. I'm just gonna like casually greet him while charging up a sleeper or something. Now, Bungie continues, the weather may be brutal, but that won't stop you from exploring its frontier. Take a look at the map of Europa and be sure to check out the most recent weather forecasts. Yeah, so guys, they actually put out an article yesterday going over how they're changing up weather going into this expansion. Essentially, we're gonna have like dynamic storms. About the best way I can compare it to, or at least from that article, it sounds very similar to like Anthem storms. Look, I know Anthem didn't hit all your checklist items, but one thing Anthem did get right, they had some pretty dope storms. And then sometimes lightning would actually strike you. Y'all remember this? It'll strike you, causing you to land your javelin. Pretty wild. Now, the storms we're going to be having here is going to be more of the blizzard effect. I don't believe we're going to take any sort of like damage, frostbite damage. Wouldn't that be something to include that out in the wild? Who knows though? Moving on, it's a pass for games. Earlier this week, Forsaken and Shadowkeep became available on the Xbox Game Pass. With Beyond Light on the way, there's no better time to gear up and get acquainted with what's going on in the world of Destiny. Hell yes. Look, I'm all for good deals. Xbox Game Pass, really. The business model that Xbox has included here is fantastic. You get these expansions for free. Oh, I really look to see Xbox Destiny player base really grow after this. Now, a few housekeeping notes for Guardians who are being freshly rezzed in the Cosmodrome. You'll need to download Destiny 2, Forsaken, and Shadowkeep to access this content. Without Destiny 2, you can't launch the game. For new Guardians joining our ranks through Xbox Game Pass, we have a help article specifically for you. Our help forums are also available at any time if you hit a snag on your way to the tower. If you encounter any issues accessing the game content or Xbox-related services, please refer to Xbox support. Eyes up, Guardians, and welcome to the community. Best advice for any players that are new to Destiny: shoot first, ask questions later. You know what I mean? Just start blasting. Now, ye old banner of iron. A few weeks back, we announced the extension of seasonal arrivals, knowing that we've added a few fun things between September 22nd and November 10th launch date of Beyond Light. First, we feature some double ordeal loot on Lake of Shadows. This week, Drifter's been upping the ante with Triple Infamy. Next week, Lord Saladin returns with Triple Valor, themed weapons and armor, and his Pinnacle Power Bounty rewards. Don't go thinking it will be easy to snag some loot though. Control is the name of the game, and power is enabled. If you haven't risen through the Pinnacle band yet, you may find yourself facing a raid boss or two on the other team. So essentially, Iron Banner kicks off next Tuesday, guys. Triple Valor time. For those still on the Regix grind, now's your moment. Bungie does say that there will be a few more weeks with increased rewards for Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit, so stay tuned for announcements. That's fantastic, but Bungie, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I would love to see this seep into trials, like double reward trials, maybe even like double win progression trials, like the last week of trials. Perhaps another week of double loot from Grandmaster Nightfalls or just Nightfall ordeals. This would really spice things up, especially like the final weeks of October leading into the expansion. Come on, Bungie. Don't be stingy now. Talking tech. Preparing for Beyond Light. With Beyond Light on fast approach, it's time to shift our TWAB gears a little. Today, we'll be talking through some of the back-end changes that will come to Destiny 2 on November 10th. To guide us through this process, we're passing the mic to Destiny Engineer Director David Aldrige. David Aldrige. So from Aldrige, or Daldridge, when Destiny 2 launched 3 years ago, we had no idea that in 2020, we announced a new trilogy of expansions, among other 2020 surprises we didn't anticipate. At the time, we thought Destiny 2's arc would look a lot like Destiny 1, a couple of expansions, and then a sequel. We learned many lessons from the transition to Destiny 2, and from shipping Curse of Osiris, Warmind, Forsaken, the Year 2 Seasons, and Shadowkeep. When we evaluated those lessons, we decided not to pursue a Destiny 3, but instead to reinvest everything in Destiny 2 and make it all that it could be. Check out our longer write-up on this choice here. Yeah, so this is actually a while back where DJ had written an article about building a viable future in Destiny 2. But Aldrige here continues to support that strategy. We've made several tech investments to help us sustainably evolve the game for years to come. Some of those investments are arriving in Beyond Light. Many of these changes are under the hood and won't affect your experience, except insofar as they help us deliver you more and a better Destiny in the future, but some may result in neat improvements, curious behavior differences, or bugs. This means that on November 10th, some places and things will feel a little like sliders. Only 90 kids will get this. So we like to give you a rundown of some of the changes and possible side effects. Yo, I'm a 90s kid, but what the hell is sliders? What? Now we shifted our mission scripting model to run on the physics host instead of the mission host. More details on the split here in an interview with Matt Seeger. In the long run, this change will give designer options to create more novel mission mechanics by giving the mission scripting environment full access to the game state, instead of much more limited access the mission host had. For example, the physics host knows exactly where enemy combatants are and what actions they recently performed, while the mission host only knew how many combatants were alive in a squad and what that squad was generally trying to accomplish. In Beyond Light, we're only launching the foundations of this system, and we look forward to evolving and leveraging it in the future. So what you might notice: the new scripting environment changed many behaviors in complex ways. You may see interesting behavior changes or bugs in pre-Beyond Light missions and public events and similar that were originally built and tested on the previous systems. We've tested these missions heavily and stamped out many bugs, but some will undoubtedly slip through. We'll be monitoring and fixing remaining bugs over time. In some cases, these issues were more severe. For example, they caused the Prophecy Dungeon to be unavailable temporarily. We're all excited for its triumphant return, slated for the end of this year. One other cool new feature in this area is face-to-face joins in social spaces. So you can now fire team up with tower friends without a long tower reload, okay? Now we revamped our content building and patching pipeline for speed and install size. With the tremendous size of Destiny, our complete shippable content builds were frequently taken north of 24 hours. We made investments to bring that down to sub 12 hours, which resulted in a bunch of changes to our content and patch formats. We also took on work to allow us to cull content that we've upgraded or replaced. Our previous patching system had limited capabilities here due to trying to minimize patch size and other constraints. And the current Destiny 2 install has a significant amount of accreted dead content. So for example, assets in the base install that were replaced in later patches. So what you might notice with this revamping, due to all these changes, Beyond Light will be a full re-download on all platforms. We know this will be painful for those with slower or metered internet connections, and we're sorry about that. To help mitigate this, we're planning to enable Beyond Light preloads sometime in the evening of November 9th Pacific time, which should give everyone at least 10 hours to download before the gates open. Destiny's 2 install size will also shrink by 30 to 40% due to a combination of culling unused or replaced content, install size optimizations, and moving some content to the Destiny Content Vault. Destiny 2's install size will shrink between 59 and 71 gigabytes, depending on the platform, a reduction of 30 to 40%. These improvements should also help us control install size better in the coming years. We hope to use these much faster builds to accomplish two things: help us ship mission critical fixes faster when game-breaking bugs arise, reduce our overall ship pipeline depth, enabling us to work on Destiny releases closer to their ship dates so we can react to fresher information about what's happening in the live game. For example, historically, each of our seasons has had to get deep into production before the preceding season launch, preventing us from reacting to learnings from that preceding season. These tech improvements should give us 1 to 2 more weeks of flexibility on the seasonal scale, helping us pivot more quickly in some cases. I know there's a lot more we're about to read here, guys, but essentially, the game's becoming more optimized. That's what you're getting from all this. It's becoming more optimized, which is the whole reason why the DCV even exists. Now, moving on, we rebuilt our character face system. We know how your Guardian looks is important to you, and we've long waited to add more player customization to Destiny. Our original system for player faces had some combinatoric content authoring problems. For example, every decal had to be authored completely custom for each player face permutation. This prevented us from extending this area of the game with more content and features. We've upgraded to a significantly more capable system with runtime decal projection, which we hope to leverage for more player customization options in the future. As part of this process, we reviewed the existing player models with our diversity committee and employee resource groups in the studio to make small tweaks to existing player heads. We're also building a list of Guardian face shapes we should bring to the game in the future in order to increase Guardian diversity in Destiny, with a long-term goal of enabling everyone to imagine themselves as their Guardian. So what you might notice, your Guardian's face may look a bit different. You know, I know this is going to sound crazy because we don't bring it up, we don't talk about it. When D2 first launched, I remember a big complaint from some of your more high-profile reviewer sites. They said there was not enough customization in our characters, most notably in the faces. Who knew you had to do an entire system overhaul to allow this? Wow. Now, we relit portions of the EDZ in Nessus. During the early stages of Beyond Light production, the Lighting and Skies team had the desire to provide a visual refresh to the two remaining D2 Year 1 destinations, EDZ and Nessus, as they enter their 4th year in rotation. To that end, the teams performed relights and global lighting updates to a number of locations on both of those destinations. So what you might notice, different lighting on existing destinations. The changes are intentional and are meant to bring the visual quality of these spaces up to our current lighting standards, while providing a fresh coat of paint for some of our Year 1 locations. We hope you enjoy these updates to some familiar locations when you explore the EDZ and Nessus this November. We're excited to leverage these improvements to redouble our efforts on Destiny 2, and we aim to make Destiny 2 still feel like your home away from home. Thanks, David Aldrige. P.S. Congratulations on making it to the end of this long and nerdy love letter. If your passion for all things Destiny tech is not yet spent, you may enjoy the Reddit AMA that Destiny engineer and manager Chris Kosanovich, hope I'm saying that name right, and I did a couple months ago. Honestly, an excellent write-up here. The main takeaway is this: Destiny 2 and Beyond Light is getting a facelift. Literally, you're getting a new face. And different areas are also going to get some nice touch-ups. Secondly, the game is becoming more optimized, which it greatly needed. Again, when D2 launched, they looked at it the way they looked at Destiny 1. Do a couple expansions, have an annual release expansion, do that for about 2 years, maybe 3 at most. Boom, on to Destiny 3. And contractually with Activision, that was how they were going to continue to keep doing this until Bungie decided to double down on Destiny 2. If anything you could take away from here, Bungie's team is obviously doubling down on D2 for the long haul. Talked about this game being a decade-long game. These are the moves, man. Unfortunately, I think for us, as veteran players, we have to go through the growing pains. Somebody that joins Destiny 2, whether it's this fall or even years down the road, will never know what D2 or D1 was like at launch, which could be both a good thing and a bad thing. Regardless, optimizing the game, huge win, needed to happen. I'm looking forward to seeing all the new changes coming. Didn't say engine changes, you know, they didn't say that. They just said rescripting to a physics host. If I got any guys out there that knows what the hell that means, give me the pros and cons, man. Tell me what it is. I need to know. Moving up. Did you say more emblems? Beyond Light isn't just bringing Europa to the fold. It's also bringing many pieces of loot. This year, we're refreshing our few community emblems for you to hunt. Whether it be fashion, art, movie of the week, or the Bungie bounty, we have some new swag to hopefully catch your eye. I'm personally giddy that we have 7 total community emblems to show off. There's just something about that number we love so much. All right, new emblems. First up, the fashion show emblem. Oh, look at that. Feature artist emblem. Mighty sexy movie of the week. Okay. Bungie bounty emblem. Dude, the Bungie bounty looks dope. Honestly, the fashion emblem's my favorite here. I think that one's my favorite. That one's really good. The feature artist one is also really good. I'm a terrible artist, but I might try something. Now, Shadowkeep variants for each emblem will be available through November 10th. There will be a few final chances to earn them before the new hotness becomes available, so stay tuned. We also like to take a moment to celebrate our community volunteers. If you've ever visited the help forum, you may have noticed some members answering questions and linking players to general help articles and Bungie author troubleshooting methods. These are the mentors, the white gloves of our community, dedicated to lending a hand to any player trying to get back into the game. Our moderators, however, are referred to as ninjas. They work in the shadows, removing bad actors from our forums whenever the code of conduct is broken. You may see one ever so often in the forums replying to threads, but the work is behind the scenes. As of late, we've also been receiving some help from the community moderators during Bungie livestream. Whether they be Bungie bounties, charity initiatives, or whatever reasons we decide to broadcast, these individuals are helping to keep chat a bit cleaner. Join us in welcoming shields to the fold of our community moderation teams. Each volunteer group will be receiving a new emblem this year. While it might seem like a minor gesture, we hope that you join us in giving them thanks whenever you see these emblems in the wild. Oh, these look so good. Look at this, man. Look at the ninja's emblem. Man, I want to be a ninja. Look at the shield. All right. How do we become a mod for Bungie? Huh? I can ban some people. I got no problem with it, man. I think I would get power hungry though, right? Kind of like that guy in our Discord. Remember Thanos? He banned like 13,000 people in one night. Now, if you're wondering, how do I become a volunteer? Our members are all community source. If we see you helping out on the forums frequently or just having a good time in chat while upholding our code, we may reach out to see if you'd like to join up. That said, don't do it for the emblem. Do it out of the kindness of your heart and for the betterment of your community. The emblem is just a little treat. See, that's why I wouldn't get on board. I am completely all in it for the emblem. Well, guys, that is your TWAB. DMG leaves us with a final note. Did you make it this far? Always fun to have a meaty TWAB. I'll spare you the long outro, but I do want to say this. Thanks for stopping by. We always appreciate those who tune in for the weekly conversation, whether we have a lot of new info or just a simple check-in to see how everyone's doing between content drops. Festival of the Lost is on the way. It's almost time to get spooky. Stay tuned for tricks and treats because they'll be coming soon. Cheers, DMG. Dude, I can't believe Festival of Lost is right around the corner, and it normally goes hand in hand with the new expansion. So this is kind of a new one for us. This is the first time this has ever happened. I'm interested to know what they're gonna do this year. It's gonna have to be something spicy that essentially launches into the big expansion. Guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of this. I know there's a lot of tech talk for some of us out there that like to nerd out. It's very interesting stuff. I'm really curious to know what this physics host will feel like. Will it be more secure? Will there be some drawbacks for people implementing hacks into the game? Will this result in AI becoming more difficult in the future with everything added to this physics host? I mean, there's just a lot of things with this new scripting model that makes me wonder how far can it go. Again, if you got any knowledge on this, feel free to comment down below. I'll probably search through some of the old articles, and if we come across something, who knows, we might make a complete video just talking about physics hosts. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.